My mum loves me to pieces. I'm probably her favourite son. Everyone, tells me that. My uncle as well, right? The one who was very sort of like, harsh. I'm the right. I'm the only nephew that visits him. You know what I mean? He's Muslim nephew that he's the only one visit him. So my job, bro, is to show the Muslim, what a Muslim should be like to the best of my ability. Yes. You know what I mean? And to show that, it's not changed me, as a person. It's just that I believe something different to you. But
it's made me better, if anything. I'm the only person visiting you. That's from Islam.
Absolutely. I mean, I would use that a lot with my mum, because my mum's not yet Muslim. So I listen. So I'll say things like, Mum, so I have to do this because my religion teaches me that I have to, do this to you, and not just because my religion teaches me. I want to do it as well, but I want to do it more so now because I know Allah's going to be pleased with me if I do this. He's going, your religion teaches that? I said, yes, it's very similar to what you do, what your religion teaches, Mum. So this is why I have to do this. So I really, push that side, and that's how it should be. But then. My sister, right, obviously, who is very staunch Christian, she has a few problems with it, but she won't even entertain the discussion, right? Because not because she thinks it's a bad discussion, not because of that. I think it's because, right, it's like
it's a bit intimidating, no?
No, it's not intimidating.
Like, in the sense where, like, she doesn't want to lose her faith, kind of thing.
Yeah, what it is, right? People are afraid of change. She for her, when my sister is, I believe it is this, right? Is that if she knows what this is all about, she will have to change, and people are afraid of change. So ignorance is bliss. I don't want to know. I don't want to know what you know, because if this made you change, and I know, if I know that, then I might change. And it means I have to lose all this, my friends and stuff like this. They're gonna ask what happened to me. So her attitude is like, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you. I said, listen, you do what you want to do, but just come and talk to me. But she won't do it. Unfortunately.
Subhanallah. And specifically now, like you've spoken about a lot of people in your family. What about your father?
Alhamdulillah, this is the thing, right? Which was a shock for me. Is that I was very, very close to I was always very close to my father, very, very, very close. And then he got very ill. Kidney failure. And then, but I was always, he around that time, right? He started getting very interested in the religion. So he's asking me questions and so I would talk to him about the religion every now and again, and this would go on for a while. And then he got very ill one time and then he was in hospital, and then we was discussing with him, and then he said he wanted to become Muslim,
Oh, cool.
I said, you sure, Dad? And he goes, yeah, I'm sure. And after me, I said, after me, repeat after me, and alhamdulillah became Muslim. 9 months later, he did pass away, alhamdulillah. But for me, just the honor of doing ghusl the body, right, and preparing his body and praying the janazah over him, I just thank Allah for that,
It's priceless.
And because obviously, as unless you're, from a background of a convert Muslim, you're always thinking to yourself, okay, what about my family? What about my brother? What about my sister? Alhamdulillah, I may get, to Jannah, but, are they destined? So, but for me, right, where there's life, there's hope. You know what I mean? And
most definitely.
So my job is to, as far as my family is concerned, they know what I am. They know I'm a Muslim. Is to the best of my ability, present, myself as a good Muslim, and hopefully that will, trigger questions, and then hopefully one day a shahada.
Allahu Akbar. So it's amazing, subhanAllah. Sif Abdul Malik, just like before we round up as well, a very important question I need to ask you to do with this is, there's a lot of reverts in this situation where, the oldest from amongst them and the youngest from amongst them, where they're worried about their parents, they're worried about their family. You being someone who's actually, alhamdulillah, succeeded with your father, because that's success, that's a win, What advice would you give to other reverts out there in their dealings with their family members and trying to give them dawah and bring them ultimately to Islam? What's the technique?
the thing I believe what you must do, right, is walk the walk. Number one, right? Because if you're not even on what you're calling people to, then why should they follow you? You know what I mean? If it's like I've always heard this one a lot of time. You even hear it even with Christian. You call yourself a Christian, you call yourself a Muslim. Yeah, if you're gonna be a believer, you have to behave a certain way. You have to roll a certain way. You have to carry yourself a certain way. Otherwise, you could tell them all day long, right? Listen, look, you need to become a Muslim. You need to do this. You need to do this. But what is it doing for your life? I mean, how has it made you a better person? People want to see practical things. I look when it comes to the Dawah, right? Even to parents or even to anyone, right? I take it a bit like my Wing Chun, right? I followed my to learn Wing Chun with my Sifu, right? Not because he had Wing Chun. Is because of who he was. If he wasn't a righteous person, I don't care what Wing Chun he had, I'm not going to learn it from him. I'm just not going to, because I don't like your attitude. You know what I mean? So you could call yourself a Muslim all day long, and I've seen this sometimes with some revert converts. They'll be, they've become a Muslim now, and all of a sudden, right, they're treating their parents like the plague. They won't eat around their parents' house. They won't drink anything. They won't touch anything. They just go all weird all of a sudden. You don't have to go weird. You believe in the one true God, and that's it. But just be you. Be the same person. Be a good son. And then that might make them move more to ask questions about your religion. And don't try to ram it down. Their throats.
If you were like that. Like the example you just gave of how some reverts are, do you think your father would have come to Islam?
No way. Not that man. Again, you got to know who you're dealing with. My dad, people say me and my dad, we've got very much the same kind of character. My dad is a fighter, right? And when I did come that way before, right, that's when, he got defensive, right? And it's like, oh, so you're going to become a terrorist sort of thing. But when you just come correct, with good manners, good attitude on yourself, right? That attracts people, you know what I mean? And that's what did it for, I think that's what did it really for me and with my father, really.